Hi folks, welcome to one of my videos. So I've been looking for a toolbox for the upper garage because I kind of have my tools spread all over the place, and I had very specific needs for the toolbox, and you guys could see I picked this Yukon model. It comes from our friends at Harbor Freight. I had a coupon for $259, and I ended up bringing it home for less than $282. And let me tell you why I bought this specific model, and it's kind of important. First of all, the lower drawers, there are two of them. They handle 200 pounds each, and they're deep enough to take a circular saw. I wanted to be able specifically to put a circular saw in there because occasionally I need one in the upper garage. So that was one thing. They're also heavy enough where I could put a circular saw, and I'll probably put a reciprocating saw in here. In this one I'll probably do the 18-volt battery powered tools. So that's I needed two deep draws to do that, and most cabinets didn't come with that ability. It says the overall capacity is 1,200 pounds, so the lower two draws do 200 pounds each, and then 100, 100, 100. So all 100 pounds each for the smaller draws, and I guess this guy's good for 200 also. So my first consideration was two deep draws. My second consideration is that it was sealed on the bottom, and sides and top and everywhere else. I don't think there's a space big enough for a mouse to get in. They say as long as you can't put a dime into, like, you know, something that small, as long as it's smaller than a dime, they can't get in to the toolbox or the house or whatever. So with everything closed up and all, and that drawer back in there, you should not be able, or a mouse should not be able to get in. There's nothing more annoying than opening up one of your toolbox drawers and seeing something alive going on in there. So that was important to me. It said it had a wooden top, and I kind of didn't believe that, but if you look at the grain on the side and the way it actually is a wooden top. And they actually did a halfway decent job with that. The thing came, it had no damage to it. It was very well packed. At this point it's not loaded, so obviously it's very easy to wheel. I have quite a bit of experience when it comes to moving toolboxes. We used to have toolboxes that we would load up quite a lot because you tried to have all your tools in one place, and then we had to run them through clean room cores, as they were known. The floor was kind of waffled, so as you pushed them along, they were running on a very waffled floor, and then typically as you went from core to the outside building for vibration isolation, there was a pretty good size lip that you would have to hop them over, and we would frequently fold the wheels underneath, especially if you let them get loose, and it didn't take much for them to get loose. As you ran them around on the waffled floor, and particularly as you were trying to hop them in and out of the individual cores. So keeping the wheels tight obviously helps. And about putting the thing together, it was a one-person job because they have inserts where the wheel bolts go in. That made it a lot easier because you didn't have to have one person holding, you know, the bolt, the washer, and the lock washer from one side as you were trying to hold the wheel and put the bolt in from the other. So that all worked out well. Yeah, I'm hoping, this is going to be, forget the hope, this is what it has to be in the upper garage. The upper garage is going to have one toolbox. It's going to be this toolbox, and all the tools are either going to fit in this toolbox, or they're going to fit on the pegboard, or they're not going to be up there. They just got to move elsewhere, and that particular project will not be done up there. I'm hoping, well, forget hoping, my plan is to have the top of this empty, except for an empty container, and hopefully it's this empty container with the clear sides. And the only thing I'm going to put in that container is stuff that shows up from that major auction site. This is to be for tools. I do not want to put supplies in it, just tools. Also, no hardware. Once again, no supplies, no chemicals, just tools. The reason why I mention the container to put on top for the auction stuff is I have a tendency to buy stuff a little bit ahead, and then between when I unwrap it upstairs and move it downstairs to staging, and then moving it up to the upper garage to actually do a project, I have a lot of things that kind of get misplaced. So what I want to move toward is look at it upstairs, make sure it's functional when it comes in through the mail, and then move it from there directly to this white container. And then from that white container, it should go to whatever project it's going to. I figure with those couple of changes of all my tools in one spot, all my supplies in one spot, that it should make things go a little quicker. There's still, for anybody who owns a hoard, you realize you own a lot of, I'm going to call them loose supplies, used supplies. Let's go with used. Like you take a bike, a quad, an outboard apart, and you know, 90% of it, 95, 98% of it is good. 2% of it, some expensive part that you can no longer get, is no good. So you have 98% of a motor or quad sitting in front of you that's good, minus the part you can no longer get. So what do? Well, you make a decision. Am I going to keep this as parts? It takes up a lot of space. Or am I going to more or less put it together and hope to get that last piece to make it run again? Well, depends on the value of the completed project, to how long you wait and so forth. But a lot of that stuff, especially if you decide you're just going with parts, a lot of that stuff takes up a lot of space. If you take something apart, it takes up a lot of space. Take that truck apart, and you can fill a huge area here, especially if you put a little space around each piece, or try to store it such that you can get to it, right? So you could probably just about fill that upper garage with that truck if you took every piece of it off and tried to leave a little space such that you could get to the pieces without having to move several pieces to get one in your hand. So these are my improvements. This is my toolbox, and I told you why I bought it. Between the deep drawers, the mouse proof, the ability to move it, the multiple drawers for storing various items, and so forth. Anyway, folks, I really want to thank you guys for watching, and commenting and subscribing. Please keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out there and enjoy each and every one of your days. Bye now, folks.